Hello. I've been thinking a little bit more today, and I thought I'd share some thoughts with you. You know, a lot of people have decided that they don't want to go to church. They would rather stay home and watch it on YouTube or watch it on Facebook Live, whatever the case might be. You know, that's not the same thing as going to church. And there's no way that we can substitute going to church by sitting at home and watching it on Facebook. This is a problem that has arisen due to the convenience of Facebook, of course, but also because of the COVID scare that went through our nation and indeed the world. It's a difficult thing to deal with all the problems that are out there in the world and realize that you still need to go to church. People have used the COVID problem as a excuse to the point now it's become ridiculous. We're no longer under a mask mandate. Majority of the congregations are back meeting and singing together and worshiping God together of all different denominations around the world. There are only a few places I understand that COVID's still a bit of a problem. People need to wake up and realize that God asked us to go to church for a reason. We are not to forsake the assembling of ourselves together, we're told, as a manner of some is, but come together the more often as you see the day approaching, that being the day when the Lord returns, to encourage one another, to edify one another, all these things that we're supposed to be doing that we can't do when we're sitting at home in our pajamas in front of a computer monitor or in front of the TV. You know, we're 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 11. We're to edify one another. There's no way that I can edify somebody sitting at home. There's no way I can pat them on the back. I can encourage them. There's no way I can bear my brother's burden. You know, we're to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. We're told that very clearly. How can I bear my brother's burden sitting in front of a computer monitor? I can't. We need to realize there are things that we need to be doing that we cannot do by ourselves at home. We need to be coming back together as the church and worshiping with one another, worshiping the only true and living God. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24, as I mentioned a while ago, the exhortation of the saints. We're to exhort one another, to stir up love and encourage one another to work for the Lord and to love one another. We can't do that sitting at home, can we? James chapter 5 and verse 16. We're to pray for one another. Now I can pray at home if I know what the problem is. But we're to pray together. Prayer is one of the spiritual sacrifices that we offer to the Lord when we come together. That's something we have to do together. You see, there's specific things that we must do as the body of Christ when we come together. We have to pray together, sing songs and hymns, Ephesians 5:19, encouraging one another in these songs, teaching one another, helping one another with these songs. We're to partake of the Lord's Supper, which we can't do at home by ourselves. These are things we do when we come together. Now, under certain circumstances, could I do things at home? For instance, if I'm sick, absolutely. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of choices there, do you? You see, the problem is people have grown to make excuses for why they're not going to church rather than go to church. And that's what I'm speaking to you about right now. We can't be doing that. Acts chapter 8 and verse 39, I believe it is. Acts chapter 8 and verse 39. Whenever a brother or sister obeys the gospel, is baptized for the remission of their sins, how can we rejoice with them if we're not there with them when they're doing that? How can we form the circle of love and welcoming when we're not together to do that? We need to wake up and realize, my friends, we need to go to church. We need to be together as God has told us to do, to form the body of Christ, worship together, be an example to the community, a pillar and ground of truth to the community. We can't do that sitting at home. You know, and I don't understand why people have got the idea in their minds that they can just stay at home and still be fulfilling the will of God. My friends, you can't. We need to wake up and we need to get back in church. And we need to draw closer together as the body of Christ. And we need to draw closer to God. That's not going to happen sitting at home. Just some thoughts I had today. Hope maybe I helped you some. At least give you something to think about. You have a good day.